Oh, hi, loves. I'm Melanie Yvette, and welcome to the Other Beauty Conversation.
I think this year, 2020 was so rough. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna take it.
goals, perfection, all of that. I didn't do any of that. And I feel bad, but but I showed you in my birthday, like the agenda book and stuff.
That was so
Like,
sweet.
I don't even have one yet. So I'm like, now I actually have one. I can't even like front. I need to do it
Yeah.
because I use the holiday time to genuinely relax and be with my family. And then I also felt weird about traveling. So when I got back here, I was all anxious and I needed to calm down. And I feel like I didn't enjoy the holiday until New Year. Like
Mm.
Christmas was like weird because like traveling during COVID was weird, and
Yeah.
then I was weirded out because my grandma's been kind of sick. But then
Mhm.
I don't want to be around too much, so it was just like a weird holiday. And then
It was so
after that, when
weird.
I got back here, I realized how much I just wanted to be back in New York
Mm.
because I just like to be. I know that I'm not around people. I'm not like driving around because when I went back home to Maryland, people weren't even really wearing masks like that. They was like,
Oh.
no, no. So
Mm-mm.
I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to New York and chill. So I finally feel as though I actually did some reflection this weekend because
Like,
I was not in. I was
I
in.
haven't done it yet. It hasn't hit me. I'm hoping that it will just like organically hit me, and I'll be like, okay, I'm ready. Like, I've got back in the gym. I'm back. Like, I was ready with like work, even though work is like ramping up again. But I don't know. I'm also like trying to be nice to myself because I feel like I
Mhm.
had so many goals for 2020 and then life imploded and we were all just trying to survive.
Yeah,
And I'm like, maybe this year is just a year of like taking it slow and like
I think
seeing
that's
where
true, and I
life
think
takes me.
yeah, but also not even just taking it slow. I completely eradicated so much nonsense on my plate that I realized you just had it there because it made you feel good about yourself, but you really didn't like doing that stuff. Like certain
Mm,
hobbies that I've always wanted to pick up, like plants, like getting plants, being a plant mommy, all those things I was completely avoiding. Like now I want to take a sign language class.
hmm.
I want to do stuff like that. Whereas I had all of these very career based goals that, oh, I live in Bushwick. You know what I mean?
You're fine. I can like hear noise, but like nothing crazy.
But it's clockwork. It's like, it doesn't matter.
It's
Um,
fine.
no, what I was saying is, what was I saying?
You were talking about hobbies. You were talking about how you have hobbies and
Yeah,
like you were just
I
doing like
wasn't doing anything last year that I like to do.
yeah.
Really wanted to do. And I just eradicated everything and said, okay, what's on my plate? Like, what do I actually care about? And let's focus on that. So for me, it was more about refreshing what's important to me, if that makes sense.
Mm, mm.
You know?
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that a lot. I feel like this past year was very like I don't know, it just made us all reflect on what really matters, you know? The people
Yeah.
we love, like our home. Like it really had to like we all had to get recentered, you know, a like a restart. And that's like not to take away from how devastating this has been for some people, but I know for me it was like really reminding myself like my people, my friends, my family, me, because that was like a big thing for me was just like showing myself some more love. That was something I wanted to do in 2020. So I feel like I got the opportunity, I got the time to actually show myself some more love.
That's how I feel because honestly, I'm a homebody anyway, and I will be all the way introverted to the day I die. But let me tell you, I had to reconfigure how to take care of myself, even during COVID, even though I like being at home, because
Mm,
it wasn't the same type of care anymore. Now we're like beforehand, pre-COVID, and honestly, just pre-2020 and all the riot, whatever, riot protests, everything. Genuinely speaking, I think my stress was coming from self-sabotaging and then also just like putting things on my plate, like I said earlier, that I didn't even care about that weren't worthy, but it seemed like it was important because it looked good on paper,
mm-hmm.
or not even just taking the time to complete things. Like I would not focus on one project and complete it.
Mm,
So for me, I realized that all of that stuff I was stressing out or worrying myself to death about before COVID was so pointless.
Wow,
Like, honestly,
that's facts.
because people just have, like, people have always had issues. People have always been going through shit, but like, there's a different tone right now. Like, no one cares, basically. I see people on Twitter or like Instagram or celebrities getting all just hyped up about dumb stuff. I'm like, why do y'all care about
Right.
this? Like, what are we talking about
Right.
right now? What is the tone of the
Right.
world?
Yeah, I felt like
So that's
it was crazy. I mean, even in that time, like, I mean, it's the self-sabotage thing is so heavy. I feel like that was a big part, probably most of 2020, a good part of 2020. I was like self-sabotaging on another level. And I think also because we had so much free time, there was like nothing to do. So the only thing you could do, honestly, like, was drink and do dumb-ish because you just home and ain't got nothing to do but call boys you ain't got no time. You ain't shouldn't be calling regardless. So when I say self-sabotage, my name was self-sabotage. Like, there was a moment this year that I just, like, I remember being like, I'm just hurting myself. Like, I'm literally just hurting myself.
Right.
And I remember being like, I'm done. Like, I'm done hurting myself. Like,
Laurice, I had the same conversation one day. I was like, man, I'm so over my own
literally
shit.
over my own
I
shit.
remember that. It's just, I'm so tired of acting like I can't change certain things. There's certain things that, for me, like I said, completing stuff. Just sit down and light a candle and focus. Like, all of this piecemeal stuff, all of that starting and stopping, not focusing. I was so over it. I'm so over my own shit. Can you just stop? And when I talk to myself like that, I had a moment of, all right, because you can give people all the good advice. You can read all the bomb posts on Instagram. You can post some things in your stories and act like you are all elevated. But if you're not just sitting down and like doing the work or like the self-care or whatever it is that you're trying to do, you're not getting nowhere, like talking about it. And I just kept talking like all this stuff. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this and da da da. I'm like, can you just do it?
Literally, can you just do it? That, I mean, I feel like I feel the same. Like, I won't talk about my business venture, but I think I have a business idea that I want to do. I want to go for, and I'm gonna try to launch it in 2021.
But with it. First of all, you and I didn't even do the intro because we just
went into it. Talked to you in so long.
For those listening, for those tuning in, welcome to the Beauty Conversation. No, welcome to the Other Beauty Conversation. Do I know the title of my own show? But I am excited to talk to you about this because Laurice and I, for those listening, Laurice and I worked in beauty together. That's how we met. And we won't say where we worked, but Laurice has always been somebody, like, you've always been somebody who I knew had a very interesting career path ahead of her. I don't think you always saw it because you just are so good with branding. You're so good with business. You're so good in terms of like your eye and just strategy. Like, you're really good at that. And I also feel like you know how to not work a room per se, but you know how to, you get along with everyone. Like, you know how to work with people. Like, you're a person that I think people would really enjoy working with. And I brought that up only because I feel like we don't talk about all the Black women like working in beauty right behind the scenes. Like, all we see are the influencers or whatever, but we don't get to really peek into who's actually behind these brands. And like, you're at Fenty now, but before then, like, you've done hair care and I feel like you were doing magazine too.
Yeah,
right?
I was an editorial. I was an editorial first because I wanted to be a beauty editor. That was my dream, to be a beauty editor. And then I got into PR and marketing, and that just comes more naturally to me. It's so funny you say that I'm good at making relationships. I feel like I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'm not easy to work with sometimes, but I do love people. I do love people, and I think, I mean, being at Fenty now is like a dream come true. Like, it has its tough moments, but it's a dream come true to like now be working at such a big beauty brand. But it is crazy, like, the women behind the Black women behind the brand. I think it's like, it's incredible. the beauty industry. I love the beauty industry, and I love
Yeah.
the women behind it and the women who are pushing these brands forward. Like, anytime I can meet another Black woman on the brand, and anytime I can uplift another Black woman to join a brand I'm on, I just love it. I absolutely love it. So it's long from where we were, but I'm so happy to. I learned so much in the role when we were working together, and to,
honestly, I did too. I really enjoyed that role. Like I'm a social media manager, but like I enjoy doing social media management. I really enjoy doing it, and I also love the power that comes with being a Black woman social media manager, because you can understand that like we have a lot of say in who's going to be on our page, who's going to be in the campaigns. We might not always have the final say, but we have a lot of say. So when it's more of us in these positions, we will, I think, organically start to see the brand itself either be more diverse or be more well-rounded in terms of tone and how they're speaking to people. So I definitely enjoyed it, but you know, I I feel like what people don't understand, particularly, this is why I'm gonna say this. Not too long ago on Twitter, there was this long chain of the beauty brand and the owner. And I don't know if you remember that, but someone had posted Carol's daughter and then the owner, quote unquote, being like this white woman, right? And I'm just like, that's not true. I worked at L'Oreal. I was on the Dr. Lovely team. I was very close to the Carol's daughter team. I'm still on the some of them. And that narrative bothered me because I'm like, you have no idea how many Black women and women of color and people of color are on these teams, particularly Dr. Lovely and Carol's daughter. And on top of that, Lisa Price was in the office every single day. And she was also the first one there, the last one to leave. When she broke her foot, or she hurt her foot, crutches. I'm just like, what are y'all talking about? Y'all don't understand anything about how this industry works. And if you understood how the beauty market itself still sets Black beauty businesses up to have to sell to big parent companies, not that that's always a bad thing, because I personally think it's smart. But if you knew that, you would shut the hell up because you don't know what you're talking about. So when I saw that thread, it made me think about wanting to talk to you besides the fact that you're not boo, because I just felt like there are so many of us in beauty working behind the scenes on the things that I'm not saying that being an influencer doesn't matter, because it does, like representation. Shout out to Jack and to Makeup Shayla, to all those girls, all those women, but behind the scenes, a big part of that is us saying to a lot of these brands that aren't focused on Black women, and that's whatever, no, we need to actually hire her. No, we actually need to look at this person. Like, I remember telling a client, you need to look at this girl named Kelly Stamps. Like, this girl, she's so dope on YouTube. I think you would like her. And they just were baffled by this idea of stepping outside of their little bubble of Black influencers and seeing people. That is why I get so hyped about being a social media manager. Because I'm like, that is where I can come in. And I feel like for you too. I didn't mean to like be offended, but that's why I wanted to bring that up with you, because y'all don't know that we're back here. We're actually like working
and fighting for our people. Like I feel like fighting for women of color and fighting for men of color too, to be honest, and in my role now where I can be as diverse as I want to be. It's like fighting for that, but then also I know for me, like at our last roles, like I feel so strongly at being at a brand that stands for what I stand for as an individual and what I want my personal legacy to be. I don't want to be at a company that doesn't stand for what I personally stand for. And so I think like I agree with you. It is sometimes frustrating to see how social media takes things, and I understand that they only get to see part of the process, right? You only get to see but so much. You don't see the full team. You don't see the hard work and effort and the trying and how many people are in these board meetings trying to make these the best brands they can be. But I also understand, and I don't blame them. I don't blame people for wanting to hold brands accountable and to wanting to see themselves in an owner and see their, you know, color or their background or where they came from. So I totally get it. I totally get it. But I also feel a responsibility to as in my role now, to always be thinking about like, how can we be more diverse? How can we include more people? How can we include more unique perspectives? And how can we tell our story in a new way every day? I think that's also like, that's really big for me too. And that was big for me always, every role I've ever had. That's been a thing for me. How do we tell the story in a unique way? Always.
And I personally would like strategically look for those bigger name brands, even if they weren't targeting Black women or like women of color, because then I can just bring them in. Like, oh, you don't know about such? I got you, and shake it up a bit. You know, my role now, I love that. Like, I'm at Peter Thomas Roth, and but they're actually diverse, to be honest. But I love that they're looking for new influencers. Like when I'm bringing up people like new skincare girls, like, oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
All brands aren't on the train; they're not there yet. But there's a lot of them because they understand the power of our dollar, particularly. You don't have a choice. And it's you kind of know when people are doing it just to do it. Like right when Fenty launched not too long ago, I mean, obviously you weren't here, but years ago, not too long ago, years ago, I remember I was at L'Oreal's. I won't say which brands we're talking because it wasn't just like L'Oreal as a parent. There was just some people in the company who were like whispering about it coming. And I was like, yeah, Fenty's coming, guys. And they didn't. I don't think they first saw what it was going to be. So it kind of forced all the brands, even the ones that have been like legacy brands, to say, oh, we need to like rethink our strategy, which is a good thing, but it's also y'all should have been doing this for a while. But
it's so sad. It's so sad how
it is sad. I mean, Maybelline was doing it, in my opinion, very well, and that's because Sarah, in my opinion, was over there just like shaking things up. But
I was just talking to my girls just now about my hair, and I was just saying like, I need these hair care companies to get on. Like makeup did it, makeup jumped in. Now I need to stop feeling like I got to go to the little janky corner store to get me a track. Why can't I order some tracks on the big retail stores? Like, why does it have to be like this?
Not even just order some weave. I would like to be able to. I want a good, like, because I like weave and protective styles. I want a good, like, long collection of protective style type of products. Like, I want the ones with the sharp nozzles. We can like get in the weave, get in like the tracks, or cap. I want a special cleanser or like shampoo. Maybe not shampoo, but cleanser for your hair, like when it's braided down, like something that will lift the dirt, like whatever it is that you can think of when it comes to like braiding. What do you need to do when you like want to keep your hair clean? I want a whole collection like that from somebody. That's what I want to
feel like. I want the Black woman, and don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are some Black women who have a flawless, luxurious process. But me personally, as a woman who loves weave and loves braids and all that, and protective styles, I want to feel luxurious the entire process of. I want to feel how these other girls feel when they go to the most high-end salon and they get a glass of champagne and they get their hair blown out. I want to feel that way when I'm getting my tracks sewn in, because
we talked about this.
I need that. Maybe we give people ideas that we need to kick off.
Listen, I'm with it because we've been talking about this since the blog. I was like, Laurice, is there like what are the prestigious premium brands that are like really cater to us, just offer luxury? And like, I remember, and we're talking about beauty. Maybe Fashion Bomb Daily. That was the first entry for me in terms of media where I was like, oh, everything is just sexy,
polished, luxurious.
I love her page. I love Fashion Bomb Daily. I love that page.
And she herself is luxurious and polished. Yes. Like the founder, owner. I don't know if she's the owner, but I'm sure she is the owner. The founder, and she's so involved, and I'm sure she like. I mean, I just think I'm so happy that there is like this noise now about Black women experiencing luxury. You know, like. And when I say luxury, I mean, I'm not always saying Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Birkin bags. Yeah, no, I'm talking about luxury. Like, I want to go into a salon, and my stylist does have an amazing salon, but I want to go into a salon. I get a glass of champagne. I want to feel that experience. And because I have been in other, maybe not predominantly catered to Black women salons, and I've seen how nice their salons are, I'm like, Black women deserve this. Like, yes, I'm no shade to the beauty supply store, but why don't we have like these big brand Ultas and Sephora's catered to Black women? Like, I don't want just one section only for natural textures. Like, could I need the shade around weave and relaxers to go away.
Yeah, we need to let that go.
Let's let it go. Let's all decide what we want to do with our hairs. Period.
Those relaxers kept us afloat financially.
Okay. And if you want to have a relaxer, see, and some people, listen, some people hair does well with a relaxer. Some people can do it. And even if your hair is damaged. What'd you say?
I said, do whatever you want with your hair.
Do whatever life is too hard to be listening to other people about what you want to do with your hair. And I get it. You know, the like Western society, like opinions of beauty for Black women, I get it. But no, if you feel good, I feel good with this pony in my scalp right now. I feel good. I feel pretty. I feel beautiful. And that's what women deserve. You look beautiful. And I'm like, women deserve to feel beautiful. But also, we deserve to have a luxurious process to feeling beautiful. Like, I hate that it has to feel, sometimes it's tacky. Like, these beauty supply stores be tacky. Some of the salons be tacky. And I just think that whole narrative needs to change. That needs to change. And I'm seeing it a little bit, like some of these Black stylists are killing it. Killing it.
And one of the things I like about social media is that a lot of the Black stylists have been able to extremely expand their audience and expand their, just like their business, just by having an amazing, just like appeal on social media. Like my stylist Lana, when you go to her page, it's super cute. But when I go to her salon, it's, you know how they have those buildings where you have like almost like studios that you can rent out, or rooms that you can rent out within a big building, like in a shopping mall or something like that. It's like that, and it's a whole bunch of stylists in there. Her room is so cute, and I just remember thinking when I left how good I felt. Like I love her. Like I stalk her on Instagram now. I'm like, hi Lana. She's like, I genuinely love her because I left there feeling so good. The music was good. The vibes were good. The candles is beautiful. She had like greenery. That is what I want to experience every single time I go to the hair salon.
And that's what we deserve to experience.
And when you said luxury, it made me think about, me and my friend Lenora was talking about this too. Luxury is not just about being able to buy things. Yeah. Luxury is honestly about the mindset. And I feel like as a Black woman, that's what I learned this year. And it was last year, it was in the frame or context of, I don't necessarily have to have a lot of money and I don't have to buy a lot of shit. But what I really do want to do is relieve this weird burden. Not weird, it's definitely ingrained from racism, but this burden that I do feel I kind of carry around. It's like a film of gray energy at times. And I don't know where it comes from. And I particularly feel like it's more of me being thrust into the world when I go outside, and you have all these things that you're worried about, microaggressions, you're worried about how somebody's going to speak to you. Are you going to get catcalled? Like, we're just worried as women, particularly. We're always on guard in our life. Well, if not worried, we're always on guard. Even when we're trying to relax, there's still like can I just live feeling as a Black woman? Can you leave me be? So I decided that the world's not going to do that for me. I got to do that for myself. Amen. And luxury for me is, no, I'm going to live my life with ease. Yes, I'm going to ask for a lot of money because the luxury of that is I don't have to stress over money. Yes, I'm going to have standards for the men I'm dating now or the man I'm dating now. Amen. The way I did before, because I deserve that experience and I want to offer that to him. Like, it's a different way of thinking about life. And I'll never forget that Twitter video when that dude walked up to that white woman, no offense, and she was like, what do you do? Like, period. And I'm thinking,
wait, say that one more time.
Said that, how was like a second? Oh, sorry. I was saying, I remember on Twitter where this guy was walking up to, like people just asking what they did for a living, and he walked up to a white woman and was like, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" Because I think she was getting out of a Maserati or some kind of car, and she was like, "Oh,"
and she said she's a what?
And I was just like, She was like, I'm
Okay,
married.
that's it.
What do you mean? Do I do? And I remember thinking, if a black woman said that, how
Mm,
would you react? Because I would be like, listen,
girl, right?
okay,
It's a
and
crazy,
walk
and
away.
it's funny. I feel like even like the the world we're living in. I think also with the Black Lives Matter, like I guess I can call it like a resurgence, right? Because Black lives have always mattered, and I think that it in this moment
Right.
where like everyone was talking about it, and everyone had to really look at themselves and see how much they value Black lives. And don't get me started, because last night I even said like Black lives only matter on Instagram, but we're gonna come to that later, okay?
And then,
Um,
and then your strategy, it
what'd you
belongs,
say?
and also in your marketing strategy.
In my marketing strategy, because
Yeah,
I feel like
it's a crazy.
I just feel like it's a crazy world we're all living in, and Black women are so expected to have our stuff together, be strong, be independent, fight for our Black men, fight for our babies, fight for what we deserve. Put the daggone tight ass weave in our head, and you know that she was too tight, and I told you to loosen it up 10 times. Sit in the nasty hair salon. I don't even like the salon; it's nasty here.
Ah,
Not buy stuff. Save our money. Budget right. Not ask no questions.
not
Not
asking
ask
your
the man
family.
who he's sleeping with outside of you. Deal with the other girl. Listen,
Oh my God, Laurice,
I'm trying to experience luxury in every way. I want my man to treat me like I am the finest,
you are.
I don't know, most expensive Rolls Royce, Bentley, whatever it is. I'm not, listen, I left that in 2020 when I was self-sabotaging, and I was letting these men treat me like I was $1.99, 99 cents from the General Tree dollar store.
Not 99.
Like we leaving that. I'm not doing that anymore. I deserve, I treat everyone in my life like they are a luxurious piece of my life. And I feel like
You
I
do.
deserve that in return. And that is not saying I want a man to buy me a Birkin, unless he has money too. I'm not saying,
Unless you want to.
what'd you say?
If you like to, sir.
If you would like to, I will receive it, and I will
I will
thank you.
receive.
And I will be so grateful. But
Great.
it's also that too. Like I feel like women on social, it's everything we're saying is getting misconstrued. Like I see girls, like I see these tweets that go viral or like stuff on Shade Room or whatever, and it's like a woman being like, "I'm not gonna talk to a guy if he doesn't take me on an expensive date," or "I'm not gonna talk to a guy if he doesn't buy me the finest things in life." And I don't think that's what women mean. I don't
And so,
think.
yeah.
I think some girls probably do, but I think most women, it's just like I'm done settling for a man that doesn't give me anything or make me feel and show his appreciation. Like
Yeah.
I'm not saying you gotta buy me a Birkin. I understand. Like, I'm not with Quavo. I'm not with Amigo. I'm not with the Migos. Like I
Now,
understand
yeah.
that. And most women, if my man came in with one rose and he said, "Baby, this is all I could afford today, but I wanted you to have a rose," you're like, "Baby, I love you so much. You just love me. I love you." That's all we
Listen,
want. Luxury is a mindset. Like that's what you said earlier. Luxury is a
this is
mindset.
all I want.
That's
You
all I
know,
want. Come on, roses.
you need roses.
Okay.
That's it. And they're pretty. Give me flowers.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I need
And he
it.
didn't even give you just red. He thought about
Give
it.
me that stuff. That not only show that because that's manifestation. Because just a
Amen.
year ago, I was dealing with a whole guy that literally would look at me if I was crying and just be like, oh, "Okay, that's why I don't do Virgo men no more because they'll look at you like you're sad." Uh, so
Everybody's
yeah,
a Virgo.
yeah. Like I'm a Virgo and I don't
If
care.
there's a
So
Virgo like listening to this and we
really
dated,
are.
sorry, I didn't remember this thing. Sorry. But I don't think I ever did a Virgo. So that's a new one for me. The
What's
one
your
for me,
sign?
the trigger for me is Gemini's.
That's
Gemini
everybody's trigger.
men and Scorpio men. No, actually, there was a Gemini that I had a special place in my. He was a great.
I like Gemini men for friends. They're fun. Like they're actually really fun
So who
friends.
do you
I've
get
never
along
dated
with?
them.
Signs wise, what sign do you get along with best?
Capricorn.
Okay, Capricorns, yes.
Pisces, which is very
Oh my God,
interesting.
I have
You're on the
never. All of my best friends are Pisces, and I just like never meet Pisces men ever.
you're a Scorpio, right?
Hmm.
So you're water sign, so maybe that's why. Because they're both you're
My
both
I'm
water
a rising. I'm a rising Pisces.
signs. Oh.
What's the one you come off as? I think that's rising, right?
Wait, no, your rising. Wait,
Or is that my moon
yeah,
sign?
that's right. Your rising is how you come off
I'm
to
a.
people. Your moon
Mhm.
sign, I think, is your emotional being. Like
What's
my
crazy
moon
is I
sign.
think I'm a rising Pisces, and then my moon sign is Gemini, which
I
is
can
crazy
see that.
because I said that I don't. I don't know. It's
No, I can
interesting.
see that. That's why you're kind of wild. Like you, people, you're really sweet and friendly, but you'll also smack somebody up. And I think that's what it is because Scorpio. People talk all this shit about Scorpios being wild, but I don't think Scorpios are as much bark.
For a while, I'm very, very
They're very,
emotional,
yeah, they're very sweet in my
very
opinion.
sensitive. I think I'm the most loving. I'm so loving. I love everyone. I was just telling my best friend, like, I just want to love everyone. And honestly, that has done me very dirty when it comes to dating.
I was about to
Because,
say that will mess you up, and I feel like Libras can be
girl,
like that too. They want to love everybody, but also
who's like
Libras be
that?
Libra,
Libra.
but they're also flirts and they be lying.
No,
They
I
lie.
legit like, if I could love everyone in the world, I probably would. And I need to calm down with that. I'm like, calm down, Laurice. You can't
I'm
love
a
everyone.
Virgo. We don't like people.
I like wanna, and I want, and this year I had to tell myself, like, stop trying to get everyone to love you. Like, I feel like I worked very hard to like get people to love me too. And now I'm like trying, I'm letting that go. Like, I'm letting
Yeah,
the idea of everyone
that's
loving
a
me
good thing
go.
to let go
It's
because
hard
that
for me.
it stifles you in just in
It
personal
definitely
life,
stuck with you.
like small stuff from oh I really want to wear this really oh I want to wear weave or I want to do this or I want to buy this crop top like whatever it is that type of stuff will stifle even small shit like that because
Mm-hmm.
you'll constantly be in your head about what this phantom world is thinking
Mm-hmm.
about you when you walk outside and no one is paying you any attention. You just
Mm-hmm.
like nobody gonna no one cares and if they do care they're I mean, whatever. But
Who
no,
cares?
I that was something I had to give up. I've never been a person who was obsessed with people, obsessed with what people thought about her, and I think that's been my downfall at times. There's moments where I'm like, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Now I care about how I make people feel, but I do not care
Mm-hmm.
if you don't like my decisions that I make for myself that I've actually taken the time to decide on and to really think through. I
Yeah.
don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like I remember I told somebody, I was like, "Oh, I don't ever really want to get married. It's never been something I wanted to do." She flipped, and I was like, "Girl, I'm still not gonna get married, so I don't know what to tell you. You gonna have to be mad at me."
right,
Like I don't
right.
care.
So do you want I mean I'm getting kind of personal, so you ain't gotta answer this,
Okay.
but do you wanna have like a person that you're with forever though? Or no?
My boo, yes. Like I
Okay.
want to be with him for a long time. I don't
I feel like a
know
lot of
about
people feel that way.
forever.
Girl, I have my questions about marriage, which is crazy. I
Yeah.
hope my parents don't tune into this because they'll be like, girl.
My
But
mother, I told my family last Thanksgiving. I announced it so that no one would ever ask me again. I said I'm never getting married, but I will have 5 kids.
oh, you have
Please leave me
decided
alone.
you're never getting married.
I mean, I don't like to say never, but I just don't see it. I'm
I don't like to
33.
say never either.
Well, I don't really think marriage has anything to do with age, but I do feel like by this age, I kind of know
Mm.
what I want. I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
sure, and I get offended, particularly when like men will be like, "Ah, you still young. You don't know. Leave me alone. Like I
Literally
don't
leave me
care.
alone.
Please let me. Can
Leave
I
me
live?
alone.
I
Right.
don't feel like it's a like I love marriage as a union.
Mm-hmm.
I love weddings. Actually, weddings are my favorite thing to go to.
I know.
That
I
and
feel like if you've talked to me about how much you love
I
weddings.
am obsessed with weddings. Girl, I have so much fun at weddings because it's the best place to get tipsy. The DJ is usually good. The food is usually decent, and everybody's dressed up. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
having a ball. It's like New Year's Eve. Like I'm just
Mm-hmm.
having a ball. I love it. But I have one. I don't think so. I don't think I want to get married.
Oh my
I
God,
don't. I think I
I
pretty
don't
much
know
settled
about
on.
that.
I love
I
you.
feel
I love you. Mhm.
up in such a beautiful, loving home with two parents
So did
who
I.
were married and all that like stuff. And so I've always thought about it. But then I look at the way our current generation is going through it, and it just doesn't feel the same. Like if I met, like I always like, if I met my daddy, but I'm sure my dad was so different. My mom met him, but I just feel like I can see myself getting married for sure. And I think that if I meet someone and he is just like, I just love you, and I just think that the key is you being on the same page. And for me, it's the key on the same page.
Yeah,
But I
that's
fully understand thinking that you don't want to get married, especially in our world now, when it's like every time you turn around, you see something about someone not being faithful or stepping out of their marriage, or a woman, fighting to figure out her life now that her significant other has stepped out or whatever. Like that stuff is just like, but then you see beautiful marriages and then you're like, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard.
I mean, my entire family consists of
And you're so close to your
amazing,
family.
beautiful marriages that have gone through things.
You're so close to your
What'd you
family.
say? Yeah, I am, and I love them to death. But I've also have I just had to give myself the permission to make a decision
Exactly.
on what I really want, and I want to be in love. I want, like I've actually never cheated on
Good.
anybody. Like I don't. That's not my thing. Like I'm not trying to cheat. I'm not trying to be out here. I just don't like the feeling of a contract binding
Mm-hmm.
me to someone. I think that's what it is. But I get it, and I also have totally thought about it when
Yeah.
it comes to children. Like I want to have kids. I want to have a very
Mm-hmm.
beautiful family life, but I just feel like there's something about, for me, this idea of I have to be
Mm.
with you. And you don't have to, but the process of not wanting to be with someone if it doesn't go well or if it just needs to like end,
Yeah. Yeah.
that creeps me out. I don't know why. It's like lawyers and all this stuff just to leave somebody. But I have thought about, what does it mean if we have children, for them, like the will or whatnot, like all of the
Mm-hmm.
logistics. That's important to me. So no, I do want like I don't know. I was a relationship girl for a minute until probably like 20, like
Mm-hmm.
17, and then I was like, I'll be out here. I can maneuver a
Yeah.
little
I
bit.
mean, my journey is so like, I had such low self esteem, and there were years of,
Yeah, I remember
what'd you
you.
say?
Listen, I remember like you would say
I
things
was
around
still
that,
like
and
coming
we
out
were
of
like,
it when we were working together. I was still kind of like shaking it. And I never thought I was like worth anything. I never thought I was of value, which is like, such a lie. I think it makes me want to cry just thinking about it now. Like I just had such low value for myself, and I didn't think I was pretty. I didn't think I was worthy. And I used to like find my worthiness in a man and in dating. And I and that was so hard for me. Like that was so like that's a big pressure to put on somebody else, especially a young man. You know what I mean? Like a young boy who's trying to figure himself out too, and you're like a young girl and you're trying to put your self-esteem and your self-love in that person. Like of course when you're like 18, 19, 20, you're most likely not gonna, I mean, I don't know, maybe you get married, but like most likely you're not gonna get married. In my situation, it didn't get married, obviously. Um, and I put so much of my self-esteem in them, even into my last like serious relationship. I put so much of my personal self-worth and self-esteem into that man that when we broke up, I couldn't even, it was like, who am I? Who am I? Like, I'm not pretty because I don't have him. I'm not of value because I don't have him. It was like all these like negative self-esteem things had come back because he was like the band-aid for the self-esteem issues I had. He was like, he would tell me I was pretty. So I was like, okay, well, I'm okay today because boyfriend told me I'm pretty. Or it's okay, I'm okay today because boyfriend told me that I look okay in these pants or whatever. Um, and I think letting that go, like going through that breakup, like like I think everything happens for a reason. And the Lord sent him. And the Lord, even though there were other things involved, I think that the Lord allowed me to go through that breakup. Excuse me, I know everyone doesn't believe in Jesus, but I do. I think that I had to go through that to really see what my self worth was regardless of a man. And some girls do that on their own. Some women do that on their own. You don't have to do that in a relationship. But for me, I had identified my self-worth with dating and with men. And when the person who I thought was my forever didn't work, it like really forced me to put it into perspective how I felt about myself. I don't even know how I got on this topic. I don't know how I started talking about my. I don't even know how I got.
The other beauty conversations. So
Yeah, I don't even know how we got here, but whatever. I remember, it was such it's crazy because I think 2019 to 2020 has been so eye-opening in my personal journey with myself and my own self-love. And I genuinely, like, I think, obviously, if any woman is listening to this and you have a relationship or you're in a relationship and it's healthy and it feels good and it feels right, amen. Thank God. You're blessed. But I think that if you are personally someone who's struggling in your own self-esteem and how you love yourself, which all of us kind of have that regardless, but you'll know if it's a lot.
Yes.
You cannot allow, that is too much pressure for someone to try to fix for you. That is you to fix. That is on your own. You have to love yourself.
You do.
And when I'm sure you remember when that breakup happened, I came to work. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't believe this. We broke up. I thought I was going to marry him. Oh, my God.
I want to tell you a secret.
What'd you say?
I want to tell you a secret. So, at your birthday party,
yes,
I remember thinking, she's going to outgrow him. And I'm not my business. I let my girls do them. But I just remember thinking, she's going to outgrow him. He just didn't, and I'm not trying to shade. I'm sure you had a beautiful, experience with him too. But there was a moment where I could tell, like, I don't think he gets it, and I don't know if he wants to get it. But I'm gonna let her figure it out. And I kind of saw him not being the right person for you, just because the energy was just not the same. And I'm like, she's gonna need her moment that I had in Cuba after I broke up with my last dude in 2017. I went to Cuba and something smacked me in the face, and it was like, it's time to live your life, and you don't need that dude no more. And it wasn't about, and I met a dude in Cuba, but it wasn't about my Cuba fling. It was more about the world is moving, and you are not allowing yourself to move with it.
Wow.
And it's mostly because of a man. And then that goes down to why I went to therapy, because it wasn't about a man. It was about my own traumas, my own. It's never about who you're dating. It's never about the dude. It's always something deeper, right? Like,
it's always something deeper.
That's the catalyst for us to get deeper. But you're never really losing yourself because you broke up with somebody. No.
Right.
Like,
even though you think you are, you think because you lost them, you lost a piece of yourself, but it's not that.
It goes deeper than that. And the last breakup with the Virgo dude that I had, I remember being like really, really frustrated and emotionally off about it until I realized I have the power to like move different. And that's when I started to do my own self-reflection, like journey. And then 2020 hit, and I was like, oh, well, this is the perfect time to keep going because I can't go nowhere anyway.
Right. And
no,
go ahead.
But then I did think about calling him, texting him, going back and forth, and I saw him once during quarantine, and we got into a horrible argument and never spoke to him again. This is exactly why we didn't work. It's fine.
Yeah.
And that was the moment I was like, I'm not dating nobody. I need a moment. And then I'm, met the guy I'm dating now. But yeah, I get it.
It took a long time, girl. It took a long time. It was a journey. I mean, and I'll share my piece if this will help someone else heal, but I self-sabotaged myself for so long, and I was hurting myself. I was doing all the things you can think of that a girl would do to hurt herself. I wasn't physically harming myself, guys. I was hurting myself emotionally and allowing myself to do things I would never do because I was just hurting. It was the first time I think I really experienced a true heartbreak, and I was so lost. I was so confused. I didn't know where to turn. I was just like, oh my God, I'm hurt. I'm hurt. But I needed that season. I needed to be hurt, and I needed to sit in my hurt. And that's like a thing me and my friends say now is like, it is so important to sit in your hurt or sit in your pain, because there is such beauty that comes out of pain. Like, it's crazy. It's like in the moment you're like, I don't want to cry anymore. I'm sick of crying. I cry every night. I'm sick of this. Like, I just want to call him and beg him to be my boyfriend again, and like all of that. You know, I just want to call him and have sex with him tonight, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I just need my man back. And you think that it's that, but there's something about being single and going through a heartbreak that forces you to deal with you. And I remember one night, I'll never forget it. I was laying in my bed and I was crying and I was so sad, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. It's broken up. And I started to think about, like, who is Laurice outside of a man? Who is she? And who do I want to be? Because I felt like now I can reinvent myself, right? Before I was like, I'm just gonna like get in line. I'm gonna like marry this man. I'm gonna be a good woman. I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna clean. I'm gonna be a great wife, and I'm gonna have the best house, and we're gonna be this beautiful Mrs. Laurice. Leave his last name out of it. And I wanted that, and I thought that that was the path that God had created for me. Was just like, found him, done. All my problems are behind me. Let it go. And then it ended. And I remember thinking, like, there was this like epiphany moment. Like, I think kind of like I had a couple of epiphany moments. And I had one moment where I was like, I want to be great. I want to be the best. I want the best of everything. I want to give myself the best. I want to treat myself to the best. I want to, and I literally had I think 2020 was that year for me where I just like, whatever I wanted, I got it. What is that Ariana Grande song? She's like, I want it, I got it. Like, everything.
That is my every morning I play that song, and I also play Queen Latifah, you know, why. But yes, girl.
Everything I wanted, I gave it to myself, because I was just like, I deserve this. This is what I want. I'm hurting right now. I'm healing. And then I translated that hurting word from I'm hurting to I'm healing. I am hurting. That hurt. Oh my God, my ego was bruised. I was embarrassed. I think there was another woman involved. There was so much that was hurting me. I was comparing myself, all those things. And I translated that I'm hurting to I'm healing. And when I translated from I'm healing, I did multiple things that were part of that healing for me. I cried a lot. I talked to my girls a lot. I drank a lot. I did a lot of things that I felt I needed to do to get through it. And I feel like I've come out of it. Now I'm coming out of it. And I feel like a totally different woman than I was in my relationship, in the breakup season. And now I'm like, whew. Like, I feel like I can feel the, like, air feels different. It smells different outside. I'm different. I feel like I look different. I'm just like,
you do. That's what I told you in the text. I told you that when I was texting you. I was like, Laurice, you're glowing different. It's not about, because you've been working out. Don't nobody care about that. I'm talking about I have a single mother effing pound, and I feel better. I feel way because I've just in my life. If anything, I gained weight. Like,
quarantine did us all dirty. Quarantine did us all dirty. I legitimately feel, and I be getting nervous to say these things because, you know, the devil be listening to you and be trying to mess you. But you know what? We rebuke him in the name of Jesus. I feel so good about myself now. I love myself so much. Yes. That is not to say that I am without flaws. I do have flaws. I do mess up. I do be saying things sometimes I shouldn't have said, all those things. But I have realized that I genuinely love me. And every time I let a man do something to me, knowing I don't like that, I realize I'm just hurting me. But I love me so much, I'm not standing for that anymore. If I know he got a girlfriend and I don't want to be a side piece, I'm not doing that. Thank you so much for the offer. Don't want it. If you're not doing anything for me, you don't make me feel good. You don't care about me. You don't text me back in a timely manner. Certain things for me, those are things that I want. And I'm no longer going to feel bad for what I deserve and I want, because I know that's what I give to my significant other or my whoever I want to be with. And so that was just like the eye-opening moment. And I think I radiate differently now because I love myself so much. I spent time thinking about how can I be a better friend to my girlfriend? How can I be a better friend to everyone? How can I be a better coworker? How can I be a better sister? how can I be a better person? There's so much more to me than a girl who was in a relationship. There's so much more. And it has been the most healing breakthrough journey. I feel like such a different person. I mean, I did lose weight and I gained a whole lot of weight in quarantine. But that's not even it. The weight loss isn't the healing. The healing is,
people think that that's going to do it. It's not. Like,
it's not. Like sometimes it's part of the journey.
Yeah.
You know, keep your mind busy, move your body. Sometimes you need to feel good and you're like, oh, I look sexy. I'm going to post this picture. Do all of it. Do all of it.
But don't rely on that.
Get you some hard eyes in the DMs. Sometimes you got to do that. You got to feel that. You need that. You know, sometimes you need that.
Let me get my chart.
You know how many traps I had?
Listen.
I was on the gram like, and I still be on the gram like, I know all my coworkers be like, sis,
I told you I love your thirst traps.
I love me a good thirst trap. I love them. I gotta I'm back in the gym like heavy, like trying to get my thirst traps up, but I just feel good about me, and I'm not apologizing for it anymore because I felt bad about me for so long that I'm not apologizing for feeling good. I'm not apologizing for loving myself and choosing me and wearing my crop top even though I might have gained a few pounds, and I'm not loving myself. You know? I think I have a crop on right now.
I can't see.
I have shorts on, so I can't. I look stupid. Like the bottom.
I thought you got them yams out. I agree with everything you said. Everything you said spoke directly to me, and I feel you. And I was going to ask you, why do you think, or have you gone to therapy to try to dig deeper into why you feel you needed validation from men? Because my validation issues more so came from older Black women and within my career world. It was never really about men. In a way, that makes sense. I've always felt.
Actually, can you give me 2 seconds? I need to run to the bathroom. I drank too much. Give me 2 seconds.
No. So you had to go to the bathroom, and I had to get my life together. But welcome back to the Other Beauty Conversation with Laurice Rawls. And Laurice, we were basically getting ready to talk about how I was wondering if you had any kind of maybe childhood trauma or experience with your dad or a man. Obviously you don't have to tell your whole story, but I noticed that for me, I have validation issues with older women, older Black women particularly, because of situations with my mom. And it wasn't bad. It was just, no one's perfect. And it was more of a
no one's perfect.
Filling those voids. So do you feel like you had that experience, or you just don't know where it came from?
I actually don't think it was a childhood trauma. I try to think about how I grew up, and my dad was always there reminding me I was beautiful and loving me and doing all that he could to help me find myself. I mean, obviously me and my brothers had fights, but my brothers always looked out for me. I have 2 brothers who love me. And so I was surrounded by men who love me. I don't know where that all came from. I think it was just low self-esteem. It was just me looking at myself and being like, I'm not pretty. I remember I used to argue with my dad, I'm not pretty. I'm not the pretty girl. She's the pretty girl. I'm not the pretty girl. And my dad
would tell you that in school or something? Why would you do that?
I definitely got that in school. So much. I definitely I was overweight. I mean, quote unquote, what is overweight anyway? But I, was bigger than the other girls. I was wearing a bra way before everyone else was. I definitely didn't look like all the other younger girls around me, and I think that's what kind of kicked it, because I used food to kind of food was my escape from my not liking myself, and I didn't want to try to fix my situation, so I would just eat more, and I think it was more so that than, and I did go to therapy. I actually went to therapy. I started therapy probably while I was still in a relationship. And then I just I had therapy a little bit after it too, to try to help me figure out myself. And I think it was more so what I found in therapy was it was a lot just me and how I identify with myself. And I think it's a journey all women go on. I think you just go on it differently. Other women, it triggers in different ways, but I think all women have to find what do you love yourself? Do you really love yourself?
Yeah.
And how much do you love yourself? Because if there's one thing dating will do, it will test how much you love yourself. I
That's
think
true.
dating
That's so true.
really, as much as you think dating is a partnership, dating exposes so much about you as an individual and who you are, how you feel about yourself, all of that. And so I think I just found that it was just like my own self-esteem issues that I had created in myself. And I mean, I went through, like, I hate to say, like, I was bullied. I think everyone says that, but I definitely, when I was in middle school, was exposed to not feeling like I was the pretty girl, um, or the one who deserved attention or whatever. So there was like a little bit of that, I think, for sure. Um, and I'm still healing. I always say this to my friends. I'm like, you never stop healing. There's never like a point where you're like, I'm healed. I'm perfect now. I'm good forever. No, I'm always healing, and I've just learned I have to be very particular in the people I choose to really date and associate with, because the wrong partner and the wrong dating situation really brings up negative uh, vibes, thoughts for me. Um, there's things I always tell my friends, like, people can trigger you, and so certain situations can trigger you to be. And for me, it can trigger me to feel low and have that low self-esteem moment, or not think I'm valuable. And the moment I see it, and I pray about this all the time, like, God, like, the moment I see it, let that be the moment I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to talk to you anymore, because I can't do this. Like,
Yeah.
I
That's
can't go back to where I was.
I've learned that in dating, how who you end up with very much affects your life, and it affects
Mm-hmm.
how you sort of proceed and succeed in life, which is
Mm-hmm.
why I understand marriage and the business of marriage and where it comes from. Because
Mm-hmm.
marriage, essentially, for the most part, was created out of maintaining wealth,
Mm.
families, for the most part. I mean, there are other aspects to it, but if you look back in history, you'll understand that in addition to it really being a business, it was really a way to maintain wealth and
Yeah.
wealth and families and so on and so forth, and to marry into wealth, to marry well, which is why
Mm.
arranged marriages was so much of a thing and still are in many countries. But I will say that I've learned the hard way who you end up with. And I remember, just because dating a guy who I didn't feel comfortable bringing him to like work events, I didn't feel comfortable
Mm.
bringing him along to really just things with my friends. And I started to question myself, like, why do you feel like that? And I realized I wasn't so much embarrassed by him as I realized we didn't have a lot in common.
Mm.
And I felt as though there were moments when I did need to dim my light, because the things that I was involved with or doing, he didn't feel good enough to be a part of. Um,
Mm.
yeah, so I don't, it gets interesting when you start to look at how people affect your life, even your friendships.
Yeah. Oh man.
I can't imagine being with that man right now, where I am in my
Mhm.
life. Not in a mean way. The career that I'm having, the type of support I would need, I can't imagine being with him. And I was in
Yeah.
my 20s when I dated him, but like, there's nothing that he really could add or support me with the way that we just didn't have the same goals and vision. Like, it just wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
It would be miserable.
Yeah.
So it does matter.
And the moment you're like questioning it, right? Like the moment you're like, I wish I could get a little bit more support from him, or I wish he wanted to do this with me, or I wish he would call me back, or I wish he would come over tonight, or he wish he would want to spend time with me. I think those I wish moments are you knowing you settling for less than what you
That
deserve.
happened to me. I was sitting in a Thai restaurant in St. Mark's, down New York. I don't have no qualms about it. I was reading a book. I was in there drinking some wine, and I will never forget saying to myself, I hope he does not text me to try to see me tonight. And I will never forget that day, because that was the day I realized he's not the person for me.
Yeah.
I remember saying, I hope he doesn't hit me up. I do not want to be bothered.
Because when you like somebody, you like every minute. You're like, of course. Like, I want to
Mr.
see
Man
you.
is here. He get on my daggone nerves. I get on his nerves, and we still be in this
And
drink
you
grooving.
still want to hang out.
No, like, I be in the bathroom. He be out here playing, and I'm like, you just over there grieving. But I
Right,
still want you to
right,
leave.
right,
Stay.
right. But don't leave. Right.
Be mad at you while you here. Whereas
Right.
with my ex, I was just like, don't text me. Not
Right.
tonight. I don't want to feel like that. So I
Right.
knew in that moment, oh, I'm settling. And but he wasn't less than me. He was actually a sweet person. I'm not trying to down him because I know that there were moments where he knew he wasn't going to get out of me what he wanted. He wanted
I
to
think
get
that's it
married
too.
again. Like I wasn't offering him that. So it's not just him. It's not to man bash or anything. I don't do that shit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
it was just a moment of, yeah, no, I don't want to be with him.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Like, and
It's
then you finally
okay.
meet somebody or people in the future, or friends, whatever, dating, and you're like,
Mhm.
nah, I bang with you. This works. I get it.
I think that's it too. Is like it's so easy to want to hold on to someone, right? Because you don't want to be alone and you want the attention or you want, the intimacy. But I think it's also like you have to like let people go to if you really care about someone, you'll let them go so they can experience happiness somewhere else. I'm
Yeah.
not the right girl for you. Like I feel like
Right.
I said it a couple times. I'm not the right person for you, but there is somebody who is the right person for you. And they deserve you and all of you. Like they deserve all of you. And that's me too. Like let me go to find the man
Let
that
me
deserves
find my book, right?
let me find my real boo and
I
you find
told
yours.
my ex that. I said,
You
listen,
deserve it.
you need a woman that wants to be married. And
Mhm.
like that was kind of the bigger, like, it's okay. I'm not her and you can't change me into that. And I
Yeah.
can't change you into this type of, I want somebody who just like get certain things in my life that I will also never forget getting a promotion. And
Mhm.
he just wasn't as excited for me as I
Mhm.
was for him when he would something great would happen. And I remember thinking, like, what is the deal? And I said something to him. He was,
Mhm.
oh, it's just hard because I'm over here trying to get my life together. And I remember thinking, I am your woman, I'm your girlfriend. That is not an excuse. So
It's
it's a
not an
lot of
excuse.
little nuanced moments where I had to, particularly this relationship, be like, what's going on right now?
Mhm.
Like, what am I asking for? What am I begging for the bare minimum? Like, what am I doing? This is
Yeah.
embarrassing. Are you not embarrassed?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't cute. And
Yeah.
I,
Yeah. Begging for the bare minimum. Girl. Woo! That's a heavy one. I
but
feel
I'm
like I
glad
beg for the
you
bare
are
minimum.
on your glow up. You're just, I don't know. I just feel like you're doing everything you want to do. And
Everything.
I remember saying, I can't wait for Laurice to actually see Laurice. Because when I posted
Mhm.
that picture of me and you and Sophie, every dude that follows me was like, who that?
Thanks, guys.
And I was like, she has a man. Yeah.
I
I'm
did.
like, her name is at Laurice.
Those days ended.
They were like, who is that with the yams
That is so
and the
sweet.
dimples?
That is so sweet. No, I mean, I was in a totally different scenario. My head was in a different space at that birthday that you were at with Sophie. And but you know what? I was in such a great place then, and I'm in such a
Yeah.
great place now. And I think that I wish him all the best, and I want nothing but the best for him. And there's no hard feelings now. I'm in a really good place, and I think that we both wanted that was a healthy relationship when I was in it. I won't say that it was unhealthy. I won't say it was toxic, and I don't think it ended toxic. I think
But
it just exposed a lot of myself to myself. Um, and I think that I am just in, I just, I remember being in it and feeling like I'm never going to get through this. I'm never going to come on the
I
other side.
remember that
I'm
feeling
never
too.
going to stop crying. I'm never going to not want him back. I'm never going to not feel shitty.
Hmm.
And that's not true
At all.
because I don't feel bad. I feel great. I'm amazed. I feel amazing. I'm so happy. I don't know where his situation is now, but whatever his situation is, I'm happy for him. But I'm also really happy for me. And my main focus is me. And I needed this season. And I think I'm so much healthier now to be with someone else than I was before. I wasn't healthy. Like if someone would have met me when I first went through that breakup, I wasn't in the best
Trying
space.
to tell people that if you knew Melanie Yvette at 23 and 25, you will understand why the dudes that dated her at the time probably hate her right now. And I get it.
Right.
I'm fine with it. Because what?
Mhm.
I look back and I'm like, why were you dating anybody? You, but also
Why?
you're young and stupid, but also, they hate me. It's perfectly fine. Like, I actually send him a gift. It's fine. I'm sorry. Like, I was a mess. I was a
Mhm.
whole hot mess. Girl, I was a hot mess last year, going through a depression, and I remember thinking I wanted a new roommate for my
Mhm.
apartment, and I remember last year literally crying because I was so
Mhm.
depressed, and there were so many people who were lining up for the room. Nothing worked out, and I
Mhm.
look back even on last year, and I know this is a random story, but I look back and I'm like, you weren't in the position to even live in this apartment like on your own mentally. Like, I had to go home last year for a few months,
Mhm.
and I literally think about that all the time. How the
Yeah.
universe does make shit work. Everything flows the way it's supposed to when it's supposed to.
Everything.
Don't fret. But there was no way in the world somebody would want to move in with me last year. At the place I was literally crying every single day. I was
Mhm.
literally out of it. Oh, was it last year? No, it was 2019, not last year, 2019. I was
Mhm.
going through it. And
Mhm.
no, and funny enough, it was like a random project I did. The check came in. It's a
Mhm.
lot of money,
Mhm.
and I ended up having enough money to pay for that room and for the whole apartment, for the rent,
Mhm.
basically. And I remember thinking, God did that
Yeah.
because there was no way mentally somebody would have wanted to move in here.
Mhm.
I was literally going through it, and you
Mhm.
could feel the energy in the house, in the
Yeah.
apartment, the
Yeah.
negative energy. And when
Yeah.
I did finally meet someone, I remember finding her on Rummy and
Mhm.
literally clicking with her energy. And I
Mhm.
just said to myself, sometimes things just happen the way they happen. You just gotta let
They
it be.
happen the way they
So it
happen.
just made me think about that because even in that perspective of having a roommate, forget a relationship, having a roommate, I was not capable of even meeting a friend. Like, I needed to get my mind right. I needed to get my shit together. I was really
Yeah.
going through it in 2019. It was a really hard year.
Yeah.
Hard.
And it's sometimes when you're in the heat of it, you don't even realize how heavy you are. Like how
Yes,
heavy you're going
yes.
through it, and how just like what's actually crazy is when I first went through that breakup, I had moved out of my parents' house and I got my own spot with my roommate, my bestie, and I felt so bad because I was so negative. I was just a cloud of negativity. I was crying all the time. I was sad all the time, and I was like, I'm sure the energy I have in this place is not great. But I also feel like she was part of my healing, and I needed her, and I needed to live on my own, go through pain on my own, and also have my roommate to be a shoulder for me, because she has so many strengths. Like, she has strengths that I don't have, and I have strengths that she doesn't have. And I think that just being around her, it's crazy how life will just set those things up for you. Like, the universe knew you couldn't have a roommate, but then when you were ready to, the universe gave you the one you needed. Oh, I can't hear
My bad. I was like,
you.
and the universe sent that money.
And the universe sent the money. And that's
Because I was
important
just like,
too.
well, how? I mean,
I ain't got no roommate, but how am I pay for this?
and then the universe is like, we got you. Because, sis, you need to get your mind right. I ain't moving in with your crazy mind.
Right, right, right.
No, I feel you. It's real. It's so real, and how things fall into place when
Yeah,
you sometimes let things move at their own pace.
yeah.
I do agree that you need to push yourself out of low moments. You need to work yourself out of it. But there are moments when I realize I could also just take this off my plate and let it do what it's going to do.
Mm, mm,
And that's been helpful for me too. Just not stressing over things I really can't control and focus on
mm,
what I can. So I can eat well, I can work out, I can block people, I can literally not talk to someone anymore. I can write in my journal. I can do actual things that will help me instead of focusing on those outside factors,
mhm.
particularly how people move or if it's dating, how a man is treating me or how he is. I can literally just walk away. I can get out of that
Can
situation
walk away.
and let him live. I can do that and owning
Mhm.
that. That's when it gets hard because a lot of times we don't really want to have ownership of our decision making. We want to actually believe that somebody is making us or triggering, and it might be triggered, but that doesn't mean that it needs to lead to a result of you doing some nonsense.
Yeah.
So I do think once I had to look at myself in the mirror and be like, you have control over a lot of this.
That's
You don't
fact.
have to deal with this person. You don't have to work at this company. Even when we was at the company we was at, I was really sad and going through a depression while I was there. And I remember thinking, you don't really want to be here. And when I ended up not being there, it was perfect. It was actually the perfect time. And that day, I literally thought to myself, I'm going to get out of here in the next month. I just have to. And then it happened that day. And let me tell you something, because I'm not ashamed of it at all. I genuinely walked walked all the way from our office to like the train station right before the Williamsburg Bridge, Essex, like walked all the way there. And by the time I got there, I felt this sense of relief because I knew it was time to move and like shift my way out of this situation. And I feel like the universe said, you're not going to do it. We don't have time for a month. We got other stuff for you to do with your life.
Right.
And 2 weeks later, I get a great contract. Literally. Like crazy. And I'm just like, what is going on? Everything just completely shut down so that it could be rebuilt in my life. And I just started to say, deal with it and accept it, but stop trying to force yourself to create or to do things or focus on things that you genuinely don't have that much power over so that you can avoid the things you do have power over. You're literally just trying to distract yourself. And once you had to face that, what are you going to do when you're not working at that company no more? When you going, or if you get laid off, fired or whatever, what are you going to do when he breaks up with you or she breaks up with you? Because once everything is stripped away from you that you use to sort of have a crutch and distract yourself from, you don't have none of that. You just sitting in the room like I was, looking at myself in the bathroom, crying, ugly crying. It's okay, you can ugly cry all day. What you gonna do about it? It's time to get your life together. Those moments are real. I agree with you. That you need those moments of sitting, like you said earlier, sitting in the stuff. It was frustrating, but I'm happy I went through that too. I get it.
When you come out of it, you're so happy. But when you're in it, I remember thinking like, I'm never gonna get through this. I'm never gonna. And I started journaling too. So I part of my healing, I went to therapy. I journaled a lot. I journaled exactly what I was feeling, and I never tried to make it look good. Like
I need to do that.
Girl, you got to just journal. And when you journal, just be as raw as you want to be. I'm hurt. I miss him. I want him back. I can't believe this shit happened. He done post that damn girl on Instagram. He following her. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, I felt like I just said it all in my journal. I said it all. And that was so healing for me. And then I also, when I had good days, I also journaled. And I try to like make sure I always journal when I have good days too, so I could see how it progressed.
Oh,
it went from these dark, oh my God, I'm so hurt, I can't believe this, blah, 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 sort of situations to like, I'm good today. I feel great. I had a great cocktail.
Did you look at the timeline, like how long it took, or?
Oh my God. I mean, I think it's, I have like my journal on my phone. Let me look. I think I didn't have a good journal entry or a positive one until I had some good days. Don't get me wrong. I had, okay, let's see. It started in 2019.
I was about to say, when did y'all break up? But 2019.
I'm almost in my apartment for 2 years now. Well, maybe a year and a half.
Okay.
2 years ago?
Okay.
Something like that, or almost 2 years probably. It probably took about almost a year for me to have a positive journal entry.
Wow.
And I just was like a mess. I was a mess. But you know what? I needed all of it. I don't think I could be here. I don't think I'd have the job I have now. I don't think I'd have the apartment, I don't think I would, to be honest with you, I don't even think I look this good right now if I didn't go through what I went through. I don't know where I would be. I don't know where I would be if I didn't go through what I went through, but I know I needed to go through what I went through.
What I like about that, sorry, go ahead. I was gonna say what I like about that is that no one likes to admit how like freeing a horrible just like moment can
Mm.
bring you like
Mhm.
it brings you peace if I'm making sense. Like it brings you a sense of freedom once you've gone through something and you actually gotten through it. It's almost like, okay, well, I'll probably be okay in the future. There are
Mhm.
moments when after being fired before, being dumped, whatever, I now have this kind of thick skin of okay,
Mm.
and I
That's
love that
so
shit about
good.
myself right now as a woman. I'm not afraid of anything. Like I'm not afraid of anything. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it feels
And
good.
you
It's
like
not that I'm, superwoman, but
mhm.
for the most part, when it comes to like career and dating, I'll be like, I can get that job. And if I don't get it, okay, life goes on. I was up for a job that I really, really wanted to go. They had me back and forth for 4 weeks and then they ghosted me. And I remember thinking,
Mhm.
I'm not about to stress over this. I'll get a job. Got a job. Like I have after going through losing a job, being laid off, being fired before, like going through those things, now I have a perspective of, yeah, but I got through that. So that's what I feel like you're at now where I got through that. So I'm
100%.
gonna be all right.
And I don't think like I remember I used to feel like I mean when it comes to careers, like I that is hard. Getting laid off. Getting laid off is like that might hurt more than a freaking
It does.
breakup. Getting fired is like even more,
Yeah,
like those things hurt. They hurt. And it feels a lot like similar to the rejection of a heartbreak. It
yeah.
seems like that, especially if you weren't expecting it. And it's just like, oh shit, like, okay.
The
And I
last
think like,
one, getting fired, honestly didn't hurt because I hated being there. It was just
right.
you need a push. But being laid off, when I was at Dark and Lovely, and that was, years ago, but being laid off, that hurt
Yeah.
because you don't expect it and it's not your fault.
Mm,
And the company
no,
they didn't want to do it. They really like, we
they
just,
didn't want to do it.
yeah, getting fired sometimes it doesn't hurt as bad because I think sometimes when you get fired from a place, you probably have not like being there because you're
Mm,
probably just not showing up to be well. Unless they're just being petty or they're on some other nonsense, and that happens a lot. But
that
sometimes
happens a lot.
it's actually a blessing. Like my friend got fired from her job like a month ago. Girl, she done packed up and moved back here. Now she about to buy a house in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
You weren't gonna
There
be able to
are
do that if you were
blessings.
working there.
Right. There are blessings that come out of low moments, which is so crazy. Like there are such blessings that come out of dark moments where you can't see no light, but
Girl,
there's light there. There is light, and it's crazy how like the universe and I was like God can find something so dark, and you could feel so low, and no one sees you, and no one knows how much pain you're going through, and you'll
I,
still like come out of it like, yo, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I can't believe how much I love myself now. I'm like, I cannot believe Laurice, who used to like be crying and thinking nobody likes her, no one cares about her. I can't believe now I'd be like, I'm that girl. I love myself. I be telling boys like, you absolutely not. Like, I won't respond to text. I will not call you back. I will not go on a date with you. And I never in a million years thought I would be that girl because
I'm happy to see you get
before I used to like just crave a man's attention. Just for a guy to pay attention to me meant the world. Now I'm like, Negro, I could care less. You could not call me back. You could I don't care. You're not gonna do that. You're not gonna treat me any kind of way.
I
And
love
for me to be here now, I'm like, I cannot believe that's me. I can't believe that's me because that was not me.
many women and girls who understand, and we might not say it or they might not admit it, but there's men too. There's a lot of men who settle. People
Hmm.
that there's a lot of men who don't have confidence that we think they do. So it's a thing, but I love that you're honest enough to say, I really, really did not like myself, and now I am looking at myself in the mirror every day on some, nah, I'm that bitch. Excuse my language, but I feel like that's what you think, and I feel like you should. I'm happy
Yeah.
for you. I'm so
Thank you
happy
so
that
much.
I'm getting this sexy free Laurice because I remember saying to myself, I want her to know her 20s are for fun and I want her to have fun. I remember saying this. I
You
remember
told me so many
saying,
times. You were like,
you need
girl,
Laurice to
it's
go.
okay.
You need to have your little your whole year. You need or you and whole year is not even about sex. It's about freedom of choice in every single thing you do. So maybe you call it your me time year, but 6 months, a year, every woman I think needs just that moment where you not think about nobody but yourself. You do what you want on your time. You don't have to answer to nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, girl, my mom.
There's so much healing in that, and there's so much beauty in it. Oh my God, I feel like I did that like for a full year, and I'm probably going to do it again this year. And it just eventually one day, I hope to be married someday, and like you don't get to have those times. You know what I mean? Then when you have children, it's like almost not fair for you to be so selfish. Even though you should be as a mom, do be selfish, take care of yourself. But I think now that I can just be outraged, if I want to go on a trip tomorrow, I'm gonna go away tomorrow.
And that's the best feeling. That's the best feeling. Yeah, no, I'm happy for you, Laurice.
Thank you so much.
I don't know. I'm just so excited to see more women, particularly Black women, coming into this moment of I want to live in a luxurious mindset. I want to have access to luxury when it comes to just how I maneuver every day. I want to have my standards high, and I'm never going to bring them down. I don't want to particularly apologize for my presence. I feel like you're coming into one of those moments, and that's great. What's your skincare routine, though?
What do you say?
So what's your skincare routine?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, this is like an ad for my job, but I do really use like all Fenty Skin.
Oh, for real?
I use the cleanser. I use everything. I use everything. I mean, because I probably have easy access to it.
Skin looks so good.
Thank you.
I thought about that. Sorry, I was looking at you. I'm like,
no, it's fine. I mean, I have makeup on right now. I have the Fenty foundation on, the dewy one. I'm like advertising my job, but it's easy for me to get that stuff. But
the thing is, your skin looks good. Like you can tell when someone has good skin, even through foundation and stuff like that. Like I can tell when somebody pals on. Your skin looks so good and glowy.
I mean, there's so many other things. It's taking care of yourself, eating right, face mask.
Yeah, that was going to be my last question. Like, what's your self-care routine for the rest of the year?
I love this question. I am attempting to work out 4 to 5 days a week right now. I don't always get to 4 to 5 but the gyms are open here in Jersey. So I go to the gym. Thank God, because I needed that because I was struggling in quarantine. I do have to work out with a mask on the whole time, which
you don't feel afraid of touching stuff?
The gym I'm going to, I feel like they do a great job of keeping things clean. Like it's social distance. They sanitize everything as soon as somebody uses it. I have to sign in. Like I have to tell them I'm coming to the gym before I come there. I have to like schedule my workout. I have to sign a declaration every time I come that I haven't been around anyone, that I haven't traveled anywhere. They're like super, super on top of it. But honestly, I'll be real with you. Like I needed to go to the gym for my own health. And I know that people are like being very safe and like you should be. And if the gym doesn't feel right for people, I get it. But for me, I needed the gym because it just helps me clear my head. It's really a key part of my self-care. So I go to the gym. I try to work out like during the week because I like the weekends to just like chill, watch movies, hang out, drink. And so that's part of my wellness. I like work out. I'll think about what I do in the morning. I wake up in the morning. I try to get up right away and go to the gym. Like I wake up, look at my phone, get up, go to the gym. Because if I don't go as soon as I wake up, I'll think about it and I won't go. Come home, I make myself a protein shake or I make myself some coffee, take a shower, get ready for the workday, and then I start working, and then I usually work all day long. So that's probably like my day to day. I think what I do like to also take, I mean, I have like a candle, it's daytime and I have a candle going. I love candles.
Yeah.
I love like, just like wearing a face mask, listening to R&B. I love me a good R&B playlist. Have you heard Jasmine Sullivan's new album?
No, I've heard Hotels is good though.
Girl.
I'm not a person who likes to listen to music right when it comes out.
You don't?
I don't.
Really? I love, I mean, I'm a big, whatever's hot, I want to listen to it when it's hot. But whenever you want to, it's a great album. She killed it.
Okay.
And the messaging in it is just dope. So yeah, that's what I do. Like really, I mean, when I'm really feeling low, I'll hit up my therapist.
Okay.
Haven't been as good about being consistent with my therapist. I'll be honest.
Me either.
Recently. Not recently. But I definitely hit up my therapist. I have really found my people, because I think you can have a lot of friends, but then you have your people.
Yeah.
You have your people who you really go to when you're hurting.
Yeah.
So part of my self-care is I'm someone who needs to talk through my issues.
I'm someone who should talk.
Well, I think if it's not you, it's not you, and you shouldn't force yourself.
Yeah, but I let it sit in my head for
Mm.
days on end instead of dumping it out, which is why I like your journaling tactic. I want to try that, to journal even when I want
Journaling is a great way, especially for people who don't.
everything
Yeah,
out.
yeah. If you don't want to like share all your business, journaling is great because you're not telling anyone but you. Um, but finding your people, journaling. This is like my healing tat. I think everyone was like, I can't believe Laurice got a sleeve tattoo, but I
saw that coming from a mile away. I was like,
did you? I love it so much. It's
I'm
just
looking for the thong bikini bathing suit.
I'm like a little like, like I feel like some people who don't know me well, it's like innocent Laurice that like doesn't do anything.
Girl, please. Laurice will knock you up if you play with her. Like I've seen you have a moment where you're like, that eyebrow go up, and it's a different moment. Trust. I know.
And I'm just like,
I know your facial expressions.
But this was also like after a really tough year, I like to get tats that represent different seasons of my life. And this to me was part of my healing and that journey to finding me, and literally in a sentence, this tattoo to me is like, I will always protect myself in every way. If someone physically tries to hurt me, I'm gonna protect myself. If someone emotionally tries to hurt me, I will protect myself. If I don't feel safe, I will protect myself. It's like a promise to me that I will always have me. And I think sometimes women, we try to find that in men.
Yeah.
And obviously, yeah, like physically, yes, it's a great feeling. But me, even with men, like I will protect me against the men that don't want to treat me the way I want to be treated. So
I love that. Let me see it. Put it up.
I did so much. It's a tiger. I think you could see it better this way.
Pretty.
It's
Wait, what is it? I'm trying to.
It's a tiger. And it's only half his face.
Oh, I see the
See
eye.
it now. Sorry, it's like a weird
It's
angle.
so pretty. You're like
It's a tiger.
cute. Girl, put
It's
your
a
arm
tiger
down.
and it has like a lotus flower down here.
This is so pretty.
But it's beautiful. The guy there, you can see it better now.
Now I can see the face. Boom, boom. I see the profile.
I'm gonna probably do like the rest of my arm.
Smiles. I love this. This is so beautiful. I love tattoos. You know whose tattoo I like? Cardi B. The one that she has, I think, up her thigh, up her.
Oh, her thigh is so good. I did that. I wonder who did that.
So pretty. It's like a peacock or something going up her thigh to her butt.
Beautiful.
It is so pretty. I love a beautiful tattoo.
I love them. I think you can get them and they can be so tasteful.
Yes.
Like I think all of mine are so tasteful. I love it. I mean, this one, I messed it up because it was so painful. But this was another healing season of mine, and it says "Beauty lies in your smile," and that was me just hurting and reminding myself that there's beauty when I smile. Even if you are hurting, you smile through it, and you are still beautiful. So, yeah, it's a journey, girl.
I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy for
you.
I love that you're
so proud of you that I'm on your podcast right now. I'm like,
first of all, 5 people gonna watch me. Don't nobody care about me.
It doesn't matter.
I'm manifest.
Yes, we're manifesting.
Manifesting.
It's amazing. Everyone's gonna love it. Everyone's gonna listen. I think everyone's gonna want the tea. We dropped a lot of tea about dating, love, all that. I feel like they're gonna want to know our tea on dating. Everybody love to talk about dating.
I think because it's the one way we do kind of seek validation, and it's also the one thing that everyone wants. No one really wants to be alone.
Everyone is participating in
like
if you want to date or you are dating or you're hope to dating, you got something in there.
And you want comfort and love in someone that you trust and that gets you. I think more than anything, people just want to be around people that get them and accept the thing about them. That's been my biggest feat, when it came to dating men. It was always it was never, I don't feel pretty or whatnot. I was fetishized a lot too, being chocolate, even though I kind of hate that, but being dark skinned, just curvy, there's a weird fetishization that comes with that. But I also more so had struggled with
not being my full self, like wanting to be super ambitious. I dated more men who didn't like that about me. And I remember just like,
Your
even,
ambition?
yeah, like I had a dude that I dated in like 2010 who went on Facebook and was like, the girl I'm dating is too ambitious. And I, being petty, Melanie Vet, went under the comments and said, hey, y'all, he's talking about me. And basically, yeah, he doesn't like that. I was interning at the NBC Today show. He was like, he doesn't like the fact that I, have all these goals and dreams. And he basically cut me off and I didn't care. But I remember thinking, you're so mad that I'm literally interning. You're working at a government job, probably at grade 8 at this point, making good money. And I'm in New York interning, trying to do something. And you're so mad at me. I'm like, you literally are doing more than I am right now, but you feel a way about the fact that I was willing to take a risk.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably are either jealous or you just don't want to be with a woman like that. Fine.
You're projecting. It sounds like you're projecting. Anytime someone is like, we ain't about to be a part of this situation if you're not respecting what I do. Like, I work a lot. And I think I always say that, like, if someone is going to date me, you have to know I'm working hard. And until the day comes where I have a ring on my finger and I've decided I'm going to have a family and they just slow down, okay, I will slow down. But right now I'm hustling because I'm trying to create a life for myself and my future family. We're trying to build legacies of wealth, okay? I was just telling my friends, I was like, it's so interesting, it's so sad, but like Black people don't really have old money. Like, you know how you say like old money, like lineage of money. And I'm sure now there may be some families who have old money, but a lot of Black families don't have old money just because of, unfortunately, how we were all brought here, how a lot of us, our lineage was brought to America. I want to create that. I want to start that old money for my family. I want my family to have wealth. And I know that that comes with working hard.
It does.
It really does.
I mean, I don't want to do all that for my family. We're going to have some good money, but you are definitely going to kill it. We can be millionaires, but wealth, that's a lot of hard work on me, but I know I'm not with it. You are.
If you're somebody who lives as a millionaire, then your baby should be, I don't know, $1.5 million, I don't know, and 2 millionaires and 3 millionaires. And because if they grow up in that environment, they're only going to get more. I think of how far my parents brought us from how they grew up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking like my future family, my nephew, and like that family from that, like how much further they will be. My brother even is just so much further from my parents. So it's like my nephew is going to be even further, and my kids should be even further. So
my mom definitely, I mean, my father was a hardworking man, don't get it twisted, but she was definitely like the reason I'm all about doing the work. She's a nurse, but she's also, I love the way she works. She's just, I go to work, I do what I love, and I come home and out. She never brought work home. I've always admired that about my mother. She literally does her job and comes home and lives her life, and work does not consume her. And it's one of the things that I realized she set me up to understand, because New York can get crazy, but she's always been a great example of put all your effort into what you love in that moment, and then move on and live and relax. Don't worry yourself to death. There's always a new job. There's always a new, I really appreciate that about her. And she worked so hard alongside my dad, but worked so hard as a nurse, securing the opportunity, securing a job, or going into a career field where she knew she would always have work. She would always be okay. She would always be able to take care of, herself. And it's something that I learned, I want to say maybe last year or so, how hard and how much she put into making sure that no matter what, even in my 30s, I'm okay. And that hit me in a very emotional way during quarantine, because there were so many people who lost their jobs, they lost their homes. And my mother particularly, my parents both, but my mother worked and created and told me this. She said, I work hard and I do what I want because I want to know that my daughter is going to be fine regardless. Like, she's like, I don't care if you're 40 years old, you got to come to me for something. You're going to be straight. And that clicked this last year during quarantine, because I thought about how less and privileged, but more so blessed I am because of that. Because at 25 years old, she decided that she had a vision for her life, not knowing that I would be here. My father did too, but I really am attributing this to just like women and women working. She planned this shit from when she was 25, when she was younger. Like, she knew what she wanted. She knew. And even if she didn't do everything she wanted to do the way she wanted in that moment, she's gotten to a place where I think, and I don't know if she knows this, but she has set me up to be so successful without having to do as much as, I don't have to do a fraction of the work that my mother had to do to get where she is.
Yeah.
And I think about that all the time. Like, I am a social media manager. That does not go over my head. I work from home. I literally create strategies out of being just creativity. Like, strategy, yes. Analytics, yes. But I am all about creativity in my world. I work from my bed. My man be here and we be chilling and I be on Zoom calls. My mother has to go to the hospital every day and be on her feet for 12 hours. She did all of that so I could sit in bed and hopefully one day make money off of a podcast that I'm shooting from my bed. Like, I think about that part of it. Not just, oh, she put so much work in. No, she set me up. At 30 something, I could lose my apartment tomorrow and I have a place to go. There's so many people that don't have that. So I think about that with my mother, and I think about that with my future. I don't ever, my mother told me, she said, I don't want you to ever have to ask a man for anything. Even though I'm like, well, I want to ask, but she's like, I want you to know that.
And you should be able to ask.
But she basically was saying, like, before you even have to think about asking a man or relying on a man, I want you to know that right here, oh no, we got you right here. And it's so funny because it's not funny, it's actually really sad, but I was looking at some random YouTube video about baby mom and baby daddy drama. I hate content like that, but it's so, it's the tea. And I was just like, my mother and my father set me up where a man could get me pregnant and dip and I'm going to be fine. I would literally look at him like, you want to do what? Child, if you think I'm going to be struggling because you don't want to pay $357 for child support, goodbye. That my parents, like, they have worked so hard. They worked so hard. God rest my father's soul. I don't have to worry about none of you. Excuse me? I'm what? I'm laid off? Okay, I'm good. I can go back home. That's exactly what I did. I went home and I was like, call it whatever you want. Call it privilege. Call it being spoiled. I call it my parents did what they needed to do so that no matter what, I'm good. And that's what I want to do for my kids. So that just made me think of that. Because last year, I noticed, you know how many people have nowhere to go?
Yeah.
How many people went into homelessness? They had nowhere to go. There are people who have no family that will take them in. There are people who have family that would take them in but can't afford to on their own. There are people who do not have. And so I think about all of the work my mom and my dad, my mom particularly, put in for me to just be able to live. Yeah.
Literally just live.
So,
yeah. I feel that.
But you're going to set that up. You're going to.
I have to. I'm so
about your idea.
We're just talking. Like, I'm so glad we did this because, like, I'm so motivated now. I feel so motivated today. Like,
really,
this is a great conversation. Yeah, I'm like, I'm so motivated. Like, even in my job, like, I have an amazing job and like I do such cool things there. And then I have my own stuff that I want to do, and I'm just like, I'm so motivated. Like, I feel like you've always talked about like your own business and doing your own thing. And I remember when you first talked about it, I was like, I don't know if I want my own business. And now I'm like in a totally different space where I'm like, I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to do it and just like kick it off and like do my own thing. So I'm so excited to see you doing this podcast and just like,
thanks.
It's going to be dope, of course.
I need to get this audio together and get all the like prestigious microphones and things because I want my thing to be popping.
It will. You'll be in studios, and like people will come to your studio. I can't
do like.
I gotta come back when it's like. I gotta come back.
Yes.
Every like all the time, like every couple months.
I want it to be a setup where it's more of a room or like a couch setting when I manifest a studio for it because I don't like the sterile type of podcast, but I'm just trying to figure it out. Like. You know, but I want to have like the girls over in like a robe, or like every guest gets like a nice robe if you want, wine, and cozy, just like super cozy, and plants everywhere. That's the studio for the podcast. Manifested plants everywhere, and I'm not paying for it, so somebody's gonna have to hire me.
I know you're gonna do it.
That's how I know. But no, this was so good just talking to you about honestly, the journey of the glow up, but really
The journey of the glow
not
up.
just about your dating life and breaking up with someone and taking it from there. I have always wanted to talk to you about moving forward and making like taking the necessary steps to actually feel yourself, like really being in love with yourself. We talked about that a lot. And I can't wait. We're going to talk about what the ideas, but I really can't wait to see what you do in beauty, because you have a very interesting, if it's the idea that we talked about when we were at the company, that,
Definitely not.
oh,
actually not
that
beauty.
idea was good.
We
And
gotta
I was
talk
like, you
about
should
it.
do it in Maryland, where there's a lot of Black women there who have money. Remember what I'm talking about? You said you wanted, I don't want to say it in case.
I know, but I know I don't want to give anybody my ideas, but
Yeah.
I'm actually, but what I'm working on right now is not beauty, which is crazy. It might turn into some beauty at some point, but it's not beauty at the moment. Which
Really?
is really exciting. I'm so excited about it. It's something I'm passionate about.
Okay, we're going to talk about it.
It's definitely a little bit more direct to consumer. I'm just really excited about it. What's crazy though is I do have this passion for women who are healing and women who don't feel amazing, because I think Instagram and social media makes us all feel like we all think we're top of the world, and we all think we're hot, and we all think we're perfect, and like that is not the woman I always was. And I still have my moments. Like last time my friend took a picture of me, and I think I posted it and deleted it like 427 times. And all my friends were like, "Girl, if you don't leave," my sister-in-law was like, "Girl, if you don't leave the picture up," and I was like,
Leave that picture alone.
"Leave the picture alone, Laurice." But you know, you have your moments, and I do have a passion for women and healing, and I don't know how I'm incorporating that yet, but that definitely has to be a part of my branding. And I loved having this conversation because it brought that to light for me again. So this was also healing for me, having this conversation. So, but yeah, I'm soon. I don't know. I'm hoping I can launch it in 2021, but I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. It'll launch right when it's supposed to.
Exactly. It takes time too, man. Like these businesses, people always on Instagram like, start a business, get an LLC. I'm like, yo, this
LLC, Twitter, y'all need to leave us alone.
Leave us alone.
Leave
We're
me
trying to pay our
alone.
bills, period.
Can I get my budget right first? Let me just get my daily budget right, and then we'll talk about my business.
The way I be working all day, I work at my own job a lot and have put a lot of effort into that because I want it to be amazing and I love my job. And then you want to do your own stuff on the side. You're like, honey, I'm tired. I want to just like chill tonight.
That's why I cut down on having contracts and clients on the side to I only want to do one a month, as long as they're a very good contractor or contract. But I am not interested in doing the most anymore. Get out of my face. Like I'm not doing. I will put my work in. I will absolutely work hard, but I'm also really more so focused on working smart. So please stop bothering me about my business, because I don't know. It's coming. Just please let me be.
It's coming eventually.
Because y'all gotta stop. Y'all driving me crazy.
Right.
But no, it was healing, and it was also just refreshing to catch up with you. Yeah, thank you for joining the Other Beauty Conversation.
Of course.
I love it
so much.
We'll definitely text after this.
Okay, cool.
For,
text me.
Being real raw. I appreciate that.
Of course, anytime.
You a thug with it.
What'd you say?
I said you a thug with it.
No, I'm all about. I'm gonna get nervous when it comes out. So I'm gonna be like,
you, girl, me.
Like people involved in my life, like that I be dating, don't listen. Like you was throwing shade at me, I'm gonna be like, I wasn't. I'm sorry. I'm
pretty sure if the dude that I was dating sees this, he's gonna text me like, so that's how you feel? I'm gonna be like, yep.
I'm not trying to throw no shade. Listen to my at the ends. If you listen to the ends, there was no shade in this. It's all love. It's all love. We heal. We're healing.
I was throwing shade.
You know, thank you, Jesus, for every man who got me to where I am now. Y'all were part of my healing. The Lord used you. You didn't even know that. The Lord, y'all didn't going to church, but the Lord used you.
The Lord giveth me you, and taketh.
And He taketh you right away, and He sent you right back where you belong, and that's not in my life. So,
amen, amen.
You know, amen. So text me,
Laurice. Let's text. And thank you all for tuning in. And until the next Other Beauty Conversation podcast.
Bye.
Bye.